Let's start it up. Representative Howard, since you're visiting us today, why don't you do the pledge for us? Okay, going to open up the notice executive session for the House Election Law Committee. This will be the overture for next week, which next week, today we'll definitely be out by lunch. Next week, no way, it'll be a full day of exec. There's going to be probably 30 some odd bills that we're going to vote on. So today's fast. For those wondering, I did already go vote this morning on a 5-page town ballot. It was lovely. All right, we'll start from the bottom because there's some bills at the top that are amendments are working through, and maybe we'll have them by the time we're done. So we'll open up the noticed executive session for House Bill 11 relative to voting machine contractors. I'll recognize Representative Muirhead for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move to ITL.
Representative Muirhead moves inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 711. Is there a second? Representative Quayle seconds. Is there discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 711? 711. Relative to voting, we're starting from the bottom. Because there's stuff at the top has amendments that are coming through, so I'm going to try to let those amendments cook and then get them. Trying to be respectful of people's time. Any discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 711? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll when she's ready.
Representative Quayle.
Yes.
Representative Pudom O'Brien.
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Weary.
Yes.
Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia.
Yes.
Representative C.
Yes.
Representative Gozowski.
Yes.
Representative Toner.
Yes.
Representative Lane.
Yes.
Representative Ward.
Yes.
Representative Gilmore. Oh, he is? Oh, do we have a fill-in for Gilmore? Okay, just not. Sorry. Representative Bay.
Yes.
Representative Newsom.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Did I get Representative Muirhead?
Having made the motion to ITL, I also vote for the motion.
I am so sorry. I've kind of like skipped around a little bit. My apologies. And Representative Bricky, Bricky, thank you.
Yes.
And Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. With that, the motion of inexpedient to legislate carries on a vote of 17-0. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on consent calendar. Representative Muirhead, will you be responsible for the majority report, or will somebody else be doing it?
I'll be happy to write that.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to close the executive session on House Bill 711. Open the executive session for House Bill 514, allowing private persons to sue for violations of elections laws. I will make the motion of ought to pass. Is there a second?
I second it.
Representative Quayle seconds my motion. Is there discussion on the motion of ought to pass on House Bill 514? Representative Lane's recognized.
Yeah. I just, I will not be voting for this because the bill itself and our discussions during the public hearing, there are some changes that should be made to it to assure that it works properly. And for that reason, I'll be voting ITL. Sorry.
Is there further discussion on the motion? Representative Newsom.
Thank you. One problem I have with this is that in addition to the comments being overwhelmingly against it, is that it disrespects the right to private contracting with attorneys. Thank you.
And I would retort, currently you have no right to private contract because currently you have no right to sue. So it's a point well made. Unfortunately, it's moot because you currently can't do it. So any other discussion on the motion of ought to pass on House Bill 514? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll when she's ready, which I think we bought her enough time to catch up. So
Well, I'm going to catch up a little bit more. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm on. Okay, Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudoma Bryan,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gosowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
No.
Representative Ward,
No.
Representative Muirhead,
No.
Representative Bay,
No.
Representative Newsom,
No.
Representative Howard,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Barry.
Chair votes yes. With that, the motion of ought to pass carries on a vote of 10-7. I will be responsible for the majority report. Representative Lane, who will be responsible for the minority report?
I'll let you know all of the, Russ is raising, Representative Muirhead is.
Representative Muirhead wants to trash my bill. That's okay. He can do it. I look forward to reading it about why my idea is so hard.
Not every day.
It's not every day. I
That
get to-
opportunity presents itself.
With that, we'll close the executive session on House Bill 514. Oh, I thought that was really funny. Gonna open the executive. Sorry, you got me there, Russ. I'm sorry, you got me there. Gonna open the executive session for House Bill 497, requiring the periodic evaluations of forms and procedures related to performing voter checklists, and I will recognize Representative Weary for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to ITL this bill.
Representative Weary makes a motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 497. Is there a second?
I second it.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Representative Weary.
So I think that while the sponsor has noble ideas and is really trying to strive to improve the efficiency and the proficiency of the Secretary of State's election law manual and other forms and things like that, I really think it lacks the full requirements and specifications necessary to implement a practical solution.
All right. Some would say not ready for prime time. Is there further discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate if Representative Weary kills his own bill? Representative Toner.
I would also like to say that we are going to review this further. That like Representative Weary said, there's concepts in there that that basically have value.
All right. Further discussion. You can obviously bring it back in the second session, which I don't think we're going to have that many bills. Hopefully, knock on wood. I shouldn't have said that. I already regret what I just said. Unlike many things in politics that I don't regret, I regret that one. All right. Is there any other discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate for House Bill 497? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudoma Bryan,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gosowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
No. Oh, my
The chair will come back. The chair will come back. The roll will be continued to read, and the chair will come back.
okay, thank you.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
The chair votes yes. Would any member like to change their vote?
Yes.
Representative Lane.
I would like to change it to support the ITL motion.
Representative Lane's changing her vote from a nay to a yes. And with that, the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 497 carries on a vote of 17-0. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on consent calendar. Representative Weary, you will be responsible for writing the report about how bad the bill is. It's okay. It's okay. I've written like 10 of them.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I say it with nothing but love. We'll close the executive session for House Bill 497, and we will open the executive session for
Mr.
Representative
Chair, I
Muirhead.
wonder if I may ask the clerk what the vote was back on House Bill 514.
514 was 10-7. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I have in my notes. But you
Yes.
did direct your question to the clerk, but I thought.
Thank
Trust-
you for assisting.
Trust but verify. Okay, next we're going to open up the executive session for House Bill 492, allowing political parties to request recounts when no candidate is named on the ballot, and I will recognize Representative Wood for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move House Bill 492 to ITL.
Is there a second?
Second.
Representative Gazowski seconds the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 492. Is there discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 492? Somebody say something because the clerk is writing. Somebody say something about how beautiful the day is.
I am good. I'm warming up. I'm getting there.
All right. Hearing no discussion, the clerk will call the roll on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 492.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pujol O'Brien.
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia.
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner.
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. With that, the motion of inexpedient to legislate carries on a vote of 17-0. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on consent calendar. Representative Wood, you'll be responsible for the committee report. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And with that, the motion of with that, we will close the executive session of House Bill 492. We will open the executive section. Excuse me. For House Bill 463, relative to the composition of Board of Recounts in elections for Select Board and for the School Board. And I will also recognize Representative Wood for a motion.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move House Bill 463 ITL.
Representative Wood moves inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 463. Is there a second? Representative Quayle seconds. Is there any discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 463? Okay. Yes, Representative Ware, you're recognized.
Sorry to throw the committee for a loop. I was wondering if it might be possible to retain that instead. I apologize for
we-
the.
All right, I got to think about this. First thing we have to do is dispense with an ITL motion because that motion's been made, and that's not a superior motion. So we'd have to take. I'm trying to go through my head because this is not normal course of business.
I
So
apologize.
it's okay. I'm talking out loud, which is very dangerous. You could withdraw the motion. That's a thing that we can do. So Representative Wood, would you like to withdraw your motion?
So moved.
And Representative Quayle, will you withdraw your second?
Yes.
And thank you, the ranking member, for finding me that escape hatch. Representative Weary, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to retain the bill.
Okay. Representative Weary makes a motion of retain on House Bill 463. Is there a second? Somebody's got to help him out. Representative
sec-
Muirhead seconds. So let me change my notes here. Retain. Would you like to speak to your motion of retain? And please do, because I'm curious.
Yes. So I think there are, thank you, Mr. Chair. There are some merits in this, appreciable merits in wanting to prevent any conflict of interest when doing recounts. And so accordingly, the sponsor requested that we take some extra time and look at this to see if we can refine it and to improve it, because the need to remove conflicts of interest during recount is a noble aspiration.
Okay. Anyone else wish to discuss on House Bill 463 their motion to retain? Representative Lane, do you have any comments, or am I just? We'll find out. Okay. All right. If you're ready, are you ready for the question? With that, the clerk will call the roll on the motion to retain on House Bill 463.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pujol O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Kozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
No.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. With that, the motion of retain carries on a vote of 16-1. There's no report due, but I am going to send it off to our assistant immediately to get it out of our committee. So we won't be able to touch it until November. Just get it off our docket. So it's not going to hang around. We'll close the executive session for House Bill 463, and we will open the executive session for House Bill 395. I'll recognize Representative Muirhead for a motion.
I would like to move that we ITL House Bill 395.
Representative Muirhead moves inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 395. Is there a second? Representative Ward seconds. Is there any discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 395? Please. Somebody say something.
I think, you know, even when sometimes even when bills originate in a salutary motive and have intentions that I think all citizens understand as worthwhile, sometimes the specifics of the bill just need so much ironing out and so much work that it's better to just kill the bill and return to the subject with a clean slate at a future time. And so I think that might be the most prudent and advisable path with respect to this piece of legislation.
Representative Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of agree. It seems that there was a specific problem that they were trying to address or a set of problems, but I believe the bill missed the mark. So there was a lot of confusion even after we had the discussion, in my opinion.
Okay. Representative Toner.
And again, reiterating the same kind of thing, that there are merits to some of the of what I think the intention of this bill was, which is at the day of election, possibly having transparency of all the processes. But in my interpretation, the bill basically enabled people or mandated when they're doing the meetings and trying to vamp up to the election, that there would have to be people observing, and that was kind of a problem in my opinion.
Further discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 495. Hearing none, are you ready for the 395? 395. Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Representative Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudum O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Kozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of inexpedient to legislate carries on a vote of 17-0. Who will be responsible? Representative Muirhead, will you be responsible for the committee report?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to close the executive session on House Bill 395.
You asked if this was going on the consent.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on consent calendar. We're going to open the executive session on House Bill 367, changing the method of adopting partisan town elections to the same as rescinding partisan town elections, and recognize Representative Weary for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion of ought to pass.
Is there a second?
Second.
Representative Gosowski, second. The motion of ought to pass on House Bill 367. Is there discussion? Excuse me. Is there discussion on the motion of ought to pass? Representative Weary is recognized.
Yes, this bill just simply makes the method for adopting partisan town elections to be the equivalent of rescinding partisan town elections, and it cleans up some language as well. So it's good to go, in my opinion.
Okay. Is there further discussion on the motion of ought to pass on House Bill 367? Representative Lane, you're recognized.
Thank you. In reading it, I mean, I don't see that we really need the bill, because the first part of the bill says you're going to do this in like manner. and the next paragraph tells you what the like manner is. So I don't see that we really need a bill, and I just don't like to create bills that we don't need to. So I would agree to the change down to where the 4,500 is put in there for the number of people in the village or the town. But the rest of the bill up in Roman numeral, I can't tell if it's 1, I just don't think it's necessary.
Sorry, I'm reading the. I'm looking. I'm looking at your comments. Well, to that point, I don't think you can make the motion in committee to divide the question. But maybe something to consider on the floor if you so choose, because it definitely, I'm not the speaker, I can't make the decision if something's
Right.
divisible, but it certainly looks divisible because it's 2 different sections. One's section 12 and one's section 13. So might be worth an exercise for the clerk on the floor just to keep him on his toes.
Extend the day even more.
Maybe I'll make the motion. Who knows? Maybe I'll-
Mr. Chair,
yes, Representative. Beaver.
I think we could even ask the clerk prior to the session day.
Oh, why would you do that? No, it's not the point. It's not the point. Is there any other discussion on House Bill 367 for the motion of ought to pass? All right, hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Representative Coily,
Yes.
Representative Pudum O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
No.
Representative Ward,
No.
Representative Muirhead,
No.
Representative Bay,
No.
Representative Newsom,
No.
Representative Howard,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of ought to pass carries on a vote of 10-7 for House Bill 367. Representative Weary will be responsible for the majority report. Representative Lane, who will be responsible for the minority report?
I will.
Sorry, I'm taking my notes here. I'm going to close the executive session for House Bill 367. Open the executive section for House Bill 356. Enabling school districts to adopt partisan school elections, and I will recognize Representative Weary for a motion.
Like to make a motion to ought to pass.
Representative Weary makes the motion of ought to pass. Is there a second?
I'll be a second.
Representative Burnham seconds. So would anyone like to make any additional motions?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to amend.
Representative Weary, you're recognized to make a motion.
Thank you. I'd like to move an amendment. Is that the
Yep,
correct way?
you
to
move an
say it?
amendment.
Yep.
Do you have copies of the amendment?
I do.
Okay, let's distribute those. Give members the courtesy of a second of looking at it.
Yeah,
It's-
it's a very short amendment for what that's worth. Wow. I think there's plenty there.
All right. Representative Weir, are you making the motion to move Amendment 2025-0619H to House Bill 356?
That is correct.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Representative Burnham seconds the motion. We're now on discussion of the amendment, which let's give members a chance to review it as a courtesy. Let me pull up the original bill here. 356. Enabling. Okay. Amend the bill by inserting after section 6.
Where is it in the bill?
What,
The amendment, where does it fit in the bill?
it's
If you're going to have discussion on the amendment, you got to do it into the mics. Yeah.
Seventh, little. Yeah.
Okay. Representative Weir, would you like to explain your amendment?
Yeah, simply is if you have a partisan body, you can then have a caucus and extend that to the school district as well. So it merely inserts that for 91A purposes in as a new section 7. And then the effective date, which was numbered as section 7 in the original bill, is then moved to section 8.
Okay. Is there further discussion on the amendment? I'm sorry. Yes, Representative Ward.
Sorry, I just had a pedantic question. The amendment ends in the word "or."
Because it's renumerating section 7 to section. Oh, actually, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Because section 7 is the effective date. Yeah, this amendment's not properly written because section 8 would then become the effective date. And I don't know how you would have a or.
Well, there must be a D in that section.
Yeah, there must be a. Oh, yeah, because it's a whole nother section of
Yeah,
RSA.
yes, it's
just
from
picks
the
up in D.
91A section.
Yeah, before, but let's
Okay.
trust but verify that. That's a legitimate concern. Let's trust but verify that. Representative C, you're recognized.
In line 1, it just says that the original section 7 be written to read as number 8, so that takes care of the effectivity date. And I believe there's a section D on the 91A:2 Roman I.
Violation. Yeah, I believe you're right. Let's just go through this again here. So 198A2. Meetings open to the public. A2. C. Oh, it's renumerating the bill. Okay, so it's renumerating the bill. And the or goes there. Okay, all right, yeah, that fits in. Okay. Yeah, thank you for raising the point actually, because it's worthwhile. Okay, is there any further discussion on the amendment? Normally we do these by voice votes, but this is in a different section of RSA. And yes, Representative Bricky.
I'm really sorry to be this. Can you tell me what the rationale was behind the bill? I realize that I wasn't here for that, and I didn't get a chance to listen.
Well,
But-
we're in discussion of the amendment.
Okay.
So a more appropriate question would be discussion of the amendment, I think. If you want to ask
I
how does it
understand-
pertain to the bill, I think that's appropriate. but-
Will I have to wait till after?
Yeah,
amendment?
and I'm gonna
Thanks.
do a roll call on the amendment because it is changing a different section, and I don't think this really kind of fits into our, let's call it, understanding that if something's not substantive, if something's not a substantive change, that we just take it. So I'm gonna do a roll call on the amendment because I think it's outside of the scope of our, let's call it, an understanding. So we're gonna take a roll call vote. Is any other discussion on the amendment?
Just, I looked up the 91A2 RSA, and it does have the word "or" in it
Yeah.
already, and it just clarifies some of the enumeration here as well. So
Yeah, it fits right in, but it's a new. The reason I'm going to take a roll call vote on is it's like a brand new section of this bill, so we haven't discussed it. So I think it would be in everyone's interest to take a roll call vote on it. With that, the clerk will call the roll on the motion to adopt amendment 2025-0619H.
Representative Coily,
Yes.
Representative Pujum O'Brien.
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
yes,
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Sorry.
Representative Muirhead,
No.
Representative Bay,
No.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion carries. I don't think we need a count on it because it's just adopting it, but we'll
Well,
have
it's
it.
10,
It's 10 to something. No, it's more than 10.
oh, sorry,
15 to 2.
15-2, sorry.
But it's
No,
not.
no, no,
It's,
no,
it's
yeah.
something. It's not something that gets reported. So, Representative Ware, you're
12
recognized
to
for a
10,
new
12
motion.
to 5.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to vote to pass as amended.
Representative Weary makes the motion of ought to pass as amendment to House Bill 356 with Amendment 2025-0619H. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Representative Burnham seconds. We're now on discussion of the bill as amended. Is there discussion on the bill as amended? Representative Bricky is recognized.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I was out of order. Can you just remind me what the rationale for the whole bill was?
Anyone like to see? No, I can't. Representative Weary recognized.
Thank you.
It simply enables school districts to adopt partisan school district elections, much as towns are allowed to. So it's enabling legislation. It doesn't require it. It gives school districts the option to do that as a practice.
Further discussion on the motion of ought to pass as amended. Representative Lane recognized. Or you want to let Representative Newsom goes first, or do you want Jake to go? I usually let the ranking member go towards the end. So,
Thank you. I guess for me, this just doesn't, we didn't hear any testimony of anybody who actually is in a school district that is wanting to do this. The towns and cities have been able to do this for years, and there's only one city that's taken this option. And it's my understanding that another city has actually removed the option. So I just don't see a need for it, and no one's clamoring for it and asking for it. And I'm afraid that by adding it, it will only increase partisanship, vitriol, and bad blood in local school elections. And as I often say during these comments, the overwhelming online comments were in opposition to it. So let's give the people what they're asking, or more accurately, not asking for.
further discussion on the motion of ought to pass the amendment. Before you go, Representative Lane, I'll go. Actually, Representative Weary go, and then you can go, Representative Lane, and then I can take the anchor.
My esteemed colleague has raised a point to which I would like to address, is I think the solution to division and vitriol is transparency, and partisan town elections will provide at least some level of transparency as in which parties people are aligned with, and that may help a town actually have less division, because then they'll know where people stand more clearly and will be able to vote accordingly. So with that in mind, for the sake of our beloved transparency, I think it may actually provide a solution to some of the concerns that you addressed.
Representative Quayle, I'm trying not to go. No, I'm trying to ignore yours. People keep jumping in unless you really want to go.
I just had the thought that vitriol based on party affiliation might be an improvement over vitriol based on personal characteristics. Could be an improvement based on my experience with town elections.
Representative Muirhead.
One of the distortions, thank you, Mr. Chair, that happens as a consequence of party loyalty is that people take their views, they rather than taking their party from their views, they take their views from their party. And we've noticed this when parties change views. So for instance, when a free trade party is a free trade party, lots of people in the party believe in free trade. When that party changes to become a tariff party, lots of people who previously believed in free trade suddenly believe in tariffs. I'm not saying that about every partisan, but it's a phenomenon where people take their views from their party rather than take their party from their views. I think partisanship is necessary and good in the context of a legislature, where you need a majority in order to run the legislature, and you need to have a group that can constitute a majority and stand together and make the legislature work. And you want to make the legislature legible to the broad citizenry, and party labels do that. So I think partisanship is appropriate and necessary and good in the context of legislative representative politics, but I don't think it arises so naturally on school boards. And I'd like to see people, with respect to education, be able to put their different views together in ways that don't necessarily fit the packages that are presented by parties, and maybe put them together in some very unusual views, blending what are sometimes called conservative views with what are sometimes called liberal views, according to their own lights rather than according to their own loyalties.
We'll let Representative Lane go because I feel like I was trying to do her a courtesy and now it just looks like I'm ignoring her. So Representative Lane, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was trying to have you go and then I would go last and we'd vote, but everybody's jumping in and I feel like it's just rude at this point to not let you go. So my apologies.
Thank you. But I don't have anything startling to add to the conversation. I agree with Representative Muirhead and Representative Newsom. In my experience in knocking doors, nonpartisan is the way to go. I often don't tell people that which party I belong to when I knock on a door, and I've convinced people of the other party to vote for me. So I think if you want to get to know your voters, you need to go out and knock doors and don't rely on partisanship because, as several people have said, I do not like the vitriol and the anxiety that has been prevalent over the past few sessions of our legislature. So I will be voting against the bill.
All right. Further discussion. Representative Prudhomme O'Brien.
Thank you. Since we're all chiming in, having a little chiming in party, I remember being a member of a different party, and I think that was due to lack of information that I personally had. This is when I was very young, and it was based on the jurisdiction that I was, grew up in. And I didn't realize that so many of my opinions were actually of a different party. I think that more communication would have been nice about those issues when I was younger, and I did change. I think that the views that I have are not always represented evenly throughout all of the bureaucracies that we deal with. And I think that people would appreciate more transparency on those issues. And if a town wanted to adopt this, I would support that because that would give voters who generally, this is one of the elections that get the least amount of attention. And people, have a hard time finding out the opinions of people because they are trying to act nonpartisan and to be honest with you, almost avoid telling people what their real views are. And I would appreciate this if it were enacted in my town.
Representative Burnham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually, I am in favor, obviously, I second it, and it's, right now, my town, I'm an SB2 town, a small town under 4,600 people, and this has been an ongoing issue. We can door knock as representatives when it's nice in the summer, right? We can walk around, we can see people out in their gardens, we can have conversations. Unfortunately, when it comes to SB2 towns, our elections are in March. It's really hard to go reach out to people in the middle of winter. So the only way, and this is, I stood at the transfer station for 2 days this past weekend, and I met over 100 people, and they love this because they don't know who these people are that are running. And this is the only thing that would help them have some information about who these people are and how they represent themselves. Doesn't mean you wouldn't vote for a Democrat or a vice versa, Republican or undeclared. It just gives them a little more information because otherwise they don't want to vote, and they don't. They don't come out and vote. And this is where the small towns suffer, and it's really unfortunate, but that we have to give a little bit more information, even though it's already public information. People don't realize they can go to the town and look things up. But they just want to get in and out. They don't want to have to do the research. So I just think this is really great to help our voters make a sound decision and want to be able to vote. Thank you.
Further discussion. Representative Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think this has to do with party as much as it has to do with what people want. I know of 2 towns that are interested in this. I had people approach me, why can we do it for the town forum and we can't do it in the school forum? And I really said there's no good reason other than we missed it because they're separate RSAs or under separate control, and we'll do our best to give you the option. It's not up to us. We have one town that has it. I believe there may be more, but I'm aware of one that has it on the town side. They seem to like it. No one forced them to do it. so it seems to be working for them. Why not let the couple of towns that want to do it on the school side have the chance to do it? So I think it's that simple, giving them what they want and making it even. Thank you.
Representative Bricky.
As a school board member, I don't believe that allowing people to be uninformed is a good reason to change. The fact that the only reason they're going to vote for me is because I'm a Democrat is not a good reason to make this change. I would like them to vote for me because of where I stand on public education. So while I respect your right to have that opinion, I don't agree with that. I don't think that just having people vote either Republican or Democrat is the way to go. It should be about public education. Thank you.
All right, I think everybody's made up their minds here. But I will end with I'm going to vote for this, but for a different reason. I think people say it, so I'm going to get this point in. These town elections, I just voted in mine this morning, are like embarrassingly low turnout. 15%. Like if you're lucky, it gets to 20%. That is not local control. It's not local control. That's a hyper informed minority showing up and dictating their will. So on the ballot, when partisanship is listed, it gives people an opportunity who are otherwise uninformed to know something. And I think that will get more people voting in these local elections, which I would hope, like, you may not agree with the method. I would hope you would agree with the outcome of more people voting, right? So I'm going to vote for this because I think more people showing up in these town and school board elections is a good thing. I think giving them this piece of information is going to encourage that. And it is a unfortunate truth that the majority of voters do make their decision based on party. That is, it may make you uncomfortable to believe that, but if you've ever been to a recount, the overwhelming vast majority of ballots are single columned. And they do that as a shortcut so that they don't have to go and research every single candidate. And that's their right, by the way. So I don't think denying them this information is helpful. I think giving it to them will encourage more people to vote. And I would hope everybody would agree that more people voting is better than less people voting, especially in an election that's getting these low turnouts. And the last thing I'll say is, if you're operating underneath the assumption that these elections are not already partisan, you are kidding yourself. I will show you a Goffstown Democrat mailer that went out literally on Saturday. Goffstown Democratic Party endorsing a slate of candidates. What you're advocating for is a system where if the local committee has the money and the will, then they can tell their voters who their candidates are, but no one else will get to know. So it's already partisan. You're kind of kidding yourself if it's not. And it's time to just, in my opinion, move on. I don't think anybody's changing their position on it. So without objection, I'm just going to call the vote. Unless, Remy, you want the last word? I'll give you the last word. It's fair.
I just want to say I appreciate the chair creating the time for a little bit of chiming in and discussion. I mean, sometimes when you see the outcome of a vote on a bill, you might see one party against the other. That can hide the fact that there are really interesting reasons at work on different sides of the question, and that it's not necessarily an easy thing to sort out. And I appreciate the thoughtfulness and depth of reasoning going into people's votes on this bill.
We can be bipartisan about that. All right, there's no more. We're going to call the vote without objection because I think everybody's set. So the motion is, oh, good Lord, ought to pass as amended. All right, let me go. Trust but verify. It's been a minute. Yes, we are ought to pass as amended. So the motion is ought to pass as amended on House Bill 356 with Amendment 2025-0619H, and the clerk will call the roll.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudoma Bryan.
Yes.
Representative Burnham. Yes. Representative Weary.
Yes.
Oh my word. Representative Wood.
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia.
Yes.
Representative C.
Yes.
Representative Gozowski.
Yes.
Representative Toner.
Yes.
Representative Lane.
No.
Representative Ward.
No. No.
Representative Muirhead.
No.
Representative Bay,
No.
Representative Newsom,
Nope.
Representative Howard,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of ought to pass as amended on House Bill 356 carries on a vote of 10 to 7. Let me write this down. OTPA 10-7. Sorry, folks. 2025-0619H. Okay. Representative Weir, you'll be responsible for the majority report.
Yes.
Representative Lane, who will have the minority report?
I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. I'm going to put you down in the meantime. I'm going to close the executive session on House Bill 356, and I echo the sentiments from my colleague from Hanover that I did appreciate the debate. We will open up the executive session for House Bill 345. Get up here. Enabling selectmen to add additional polling locations and requiring selectmen to give notice to voters 30 days before providing such additional polling locations. And we'll recognize Representative Wood for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move HB 345 ITL, please.
Representative Wood moves inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 345. Is there a second?
I second that.
Representative Pruno. We'll take the second from Representative Muirhead if that's okay. We'll do a bipartisan second. Not to. I always like it when we can come together. So we're on the motion of inexpedient to legislate. Is there discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate? Representative Wood, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make a brief comment on this. I think there are some good ideas on looking at how we need to address the poll problems, mainly the long lines. I think during the discussion, there was a couple of things that came out trying to look at the time it takes to vote and things like that, which I'm counting that the Secretary of State's office is paying attention to this. But on the other side, anytime we do a little change in our town, when it comes to voting, there's huge confusion. There's absolutely no way 30 days would be enough time. And I'm thinking that it wasn't even clear how they would redistrict the town if there need to be rules there. It brought up good questions, but I don't think this bill is the right form to do it, to address them. Thank you.
Further discussions on Representative Newsom.
Based on those comments, would a retention to fix it be a way to go, do you think?
We could do that. There is a bill coming over from the Senate addressing tangentially this issue, so it's kind of up to the committee what you want to do. I don't have I just give that as a piece of information. The Senate could kill that bill. I don't know. So it's I'll leave it to the committee. Yes, Representative Wood. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did think of that. I thought the bill was too weak as a starting point, but that was my thought. And I was aware that there was another bill coming, and to be honest, I have not read that. So,
All right. Is there is there a sense from the body that we should do something about this? We don't have to act on this or retain this year. This can be brought back in what I think would be actually what needs to be done. So what I would like to see done more globally, and we can work on the specifics next session, is I do think that there should be some restraints placed in as when there's a new polling place arising. I really, and I know this is effectively kind of an unfunded mandate, but I really hate the idea of these larger towns having, example, 3 polling locations for the state general election and then going down to 1 for a town election. I think it's very bad because voters do get confused by that. I say that because I watched it happen to my parents in Houston, where their polling locations got shut down and we drove to the wrong voting location. So I know it happens because I watched it happen in real time. So and the other thing about polling locations is I would like the body to start discussing about when it's appropriate to have a town have to have a second voting location, because some of these towns are not handling this well, especially in the general election. I know in Bedford, I went and visited the Bedford voting location, and it took me 35 minutes just to get to park. And obviously that's not good. I would hope everybody in this room would agree, like, that's not acceptable, right? It shouldn't take 35 minutes to park, and then you have to go stand in line, and voting should be quicker. So either they need to, and we're not going to have the discussion now, but I think next session we should have the discussion of, if they're not moving the lines fast enough, if there's not enough parking spaces, at what point do we have a duty to step in and say, you need a second spot? You know, but you're going to get pushback from the locality. So anyways, all that being said, I think ITL's fine, but if there was bipartisan support for working on this, you know, in a smaller group, not in a formal subcommittee setting, I'd be happy to be a part of that because it is an issue that I'm very interested in. So, Representative Burnham O'Brien.
Thank you. I can understand the frustration that some communities have, and then this may be considered a way to solve it. But with so many variables going into polling locations, 30 days before, that's a little late. This is something to start talking about immediately after an election that just happened. And we have all kinds of things happening, like the electronic poll books that help reduce lines right now. And that's been very helpful in the communities that use them. But when you do change polling location and you think you're trying to solve a problem, it does impact voters who show up thinking that that's where they're supposed to vote. They used to vote at, say, the community center. Now that's closed when they arrive, and vice versa. Or they go to one place and then they're told there's another place. Now it's the community center and that's where their district is supposed to go, or their precinct. People are very confused and they will feel very, they'll be angry about it. That's what I think will happen. I just want to avoid that from happening.
All right, further discussion. Is anybody interested in that, by the way? Anybody interested in taking me up on that offer to work on that together? Or is it just me? And it's just me, I guess. You and me, Mr. Newsom? All right, Representative Newsom, we'll work on it.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Together, we will solve this problem, Representative Newsom.
I don't know about that, but
Well,
I'll work with you.
We'll try to solve this problem together, Representative Weary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the long lines and the delays to get into vote are affecting many communities, especially after this last general election. So I think there needs to be something. I'm not quite sure what, but there ought to be a mechanism to where the towns have to explain their plans to prevent this in future elections to the Secretary of State or something along those lines. So
Yeah. I'm not. All right. I'll circle up with Representative Newsom after this privately, and we'll work on that. Is there any further discussion on the motion of any expedient to legislate on House Bill 345? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudom O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Kozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of any speech to legislate carries on a vote of 17-0. Representative Wood, you'll be responsible for the majority report, the committee report, rather. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on the consent calendar. Yes.
I wanted to ask a question that's not directly but indirectly related to this bill. Is it appropriate?
Yeah, sure. We haven't closed the executive session on it, so we're still on. Even though we've taken the motion, we're still on discussion of the bill. So.
Okay, I just thought the timing was right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
What
hold
are
on a second. Before you do that, I'm gonna shut Representative Bullia's mic off. You have to turn yours back on. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering, when the initial conversation came out, the only reason why I would be interested in opening up these polling places is because of certain criteria, and I think people have been talking about this. You know, some of our board members are gonna discuss this, I think it might be good to maybe have a discussion with the Secretary of State to see how they're get his vision, because I think that solutions, I think we need to be careful on the solution we pick, and I think some of these things can be handled in a different, not in one bill, but in a different, by focusing the attention in different places.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
And I agree with that. There's also some federal statute and case law around this, because not having a lot of voting locations, having voter lines was a form of voter suppression back in the day. So these are just things you pick up all the time. Anyways, but yes, there will be there will be a balancing act between not creating an unfunded mandate, leaving some flexibility, but also recognizing like things are starting to get out of control. All right, now we will close House Bill 345, and we are on to House Bill 341, which I think we have more discussion on, if I'm correct. So we'll open up the executive session on House Bill 341, requiring the Secretary of State to check records prior to every election. And Representative Ward, this is your bill, and you have an amendment.
No, I
right?
don't have
Or
an
You don't have it yet.
an official amendment, but I would beg your pardon to
Oh, that's
bring
right.
it up next week if we could.
You wanted to recess it, and I will indulge that. So we will recess 341.
Thank you. It's a very simple change to reduce the lead time.
I shouldn't have gavelled just yet. I apologize. So two things. Representative Weary is also working on an amendment.
Okay.
And I think the disposition of the two of you is to pass this bill. So if you could, in another display of bipartisanship, get together and we could have one amendment that you could possibly agree on. That would be an election law first, I think.
Sounds like a plan.
Representative Weary, are you amenable to that?
Absolutely. I do have my amendment if,
Okay.
um,
Well, let's
well, I
let's
can
hold
share
on
it
it.
with
Well-
Representative Ward and
Yeah.
and see what he thinks.
Argue it out later.
Yeah, I'll let you two debate it out later. If you can't come to an agreement, that's okay. But you did ask for a recess on that, and I will indulge it. We're actually
Thank you.
gonna blow through some bills here. Gonna recess 323 because it's still in the subcommittee. I shouldn't have noticed it. My apologies. And next up will be 317, preventing a supervisor of the checklist from verifying a person's identity without identification, even if they personally know the person. Representative Burnham is recognized for a motion.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to motion to retain.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Representative Weary seconds. Is there discussion on the motion of retaining? Okay, I will say if we do pass this motion, I will send the report off for retaining to the clerk basically immediately. So this will be out of our possession until November. We're gonna be clearing things off the docket, not letting them hang on. We've got 2 weeks left, so. Is there further discussion on the motion to retain? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Thank you for your patience. Okay. Vice Chairman Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Perdomo O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Weary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay, Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky, Chairman Barry.
Chair votes
Perhaps Representative
Okay. Oh, and we're back. Okay. Thank you to the media team. We're going to come back into executive session.
Welcome back.
Further proof that I was not crazy. It was not working. It's not just because I want to hear the sound of my own voice. I promise you. Okay, we hadn't finished the motion to retain. I know that. So we taken the vote. It was 17-0. We were on 317. Let me put my notes in. All right. Executive session vote 17 retained. 17-0. Okay. All right. We will close executive session for House Bill 317.
Will that go on consent?
It's retained. It's not a report.
Oh, okay.
And open executive session for House Bill 308. And I will recognize Representative Toner for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion of inexpedient to legislate.
Representative Toner makes the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 308. Is there a second?
Second.
Representative Gazowski seconds. Is there discussion on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 308? Okay, the mics. Everybody's afraid of the mics now. Okay. Hearing no discussion, are you ready for the question? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll when she's ready on the motion of inexpedient to legislate on House Bill 308.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudomo Ryan,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay,
Yes.
Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Bricky,
Yes.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of inexpedient to legislate carries for House Bill 308. Right? Yep. For House Bill 308 carries on a vote of 17-0. Is there any objection to this bill being placed on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the bill will be placed on consent calendar. Representative Toner, you will be responsible for the majority report, or rather the committee report, because there's only one report. Rep. Toner. Okay, going to close the executive session on House Bill 308. 289 still hanging out in the subcommittee. I was hoping we would see something on that. We haven't, so it'll be taken up next week regardless, so it doesn't matter. Recessing 289. Going to open executive session on 281. Before we make any motions, I knew there were amendments coming on 281. Are they ready? They are. Okay. So let's do this properly. Representative Weir, you're recognized to make a motion.
Let's see. Let me. I think I need to give you one more. Hang on. One more minute. Yeah, there you go. Here. Sorry. Yeah.
Representative Weir, you're recognized to make a motion on House Bill 281.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion of ought to pass.
Representative Weir makes a motion of ought to pass. Is there a second?
Second, please.
Representative Wood seconds. Are there any amendments needed to be moved?
Yes, sir. I would like to move an amendment 2025-0865H.
Representative moves amendment 2025-0865H to House Bill HB 281. Is there a second?
So moved.
Is there Representative Wood seconds. We're now on discussion of the amendment. Representative Weary, would you like to speak to your amendment?
Yes, as we heard in testimony during the public hearings and the discussion of the bill, we felt there was a need to specify the types of formats that would be acceptable for a sortable format. It may seem redundant, but there was some discussion on that, and it felt necessary to include the spreadsheet and comma separated values into the format thing. And then also there was some aspects about there were some redundancies with the voter address, address where registered. And so what this does is it clarifies the address that is desired for that list from that perspective, and distinguishes it from the address where registered. So wondering like, where was this absentee ballot sent? So, so there's an understanding of where these ballots are going. So that's the clarification of the address aspect.
Okay, is there further discussion on the amendment? Hearing none. Representative Lane, are you comfortable with a voice vote on this, or do you want to roll call it? I'm a toss up, so I'll leave it to you.
I think generally we've agreed to adopt amendments and then kind of look at them as an ought to pass,
Okay,
as amended.
So
So
you're
I'm comfortable with,
with a voice vote?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's kind of on the line of our understanding. So, with that, we're allowed to adopt amendments by voice vote. All in favor of adopting Amendment 2025-0865H to House Bill 281, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The ayes have it. With that, Representative Weary, you're recognized for a new motion.
I'd like to make a motion of ought to pass as amended.
Representative Weary moves ought to pass as amended on House Bill 281 with Amendment 2025-0865H. Is there a second?
Second.
Representative Wood seconds. Is there discussion on the bill as amended on the motion of ought to pass? Representative Lane is recognized.
I guess I have a question. The last line 17 through 19 are new. And we didn't hear any testimony or anything about this amendment. I thought we were taking out the phrase voter address, but I didn't realize that we were making this other change. Are we certain that the Secretary of State can do this?
I don't want to speak for the SOS, and they're not here, but I do feel comfortable stating that this information is in ElectionNet, and my understanding is basically anything in ElectionNet can be exported out. So we can hold on to it and answer that question more formally, but I would say with rather certainty the answer is yes. But I'm also not the Secretary of State, so you can't hold me to it. Would you like to wait until next week, and just next week when we enter into the exec from heck, we could just do it then too?
I think I feel more comfortable,
That's
and
fair.
I also have some privacy issues if where this is all going. If
That's
it's
fair.
one thing to give out somebody's address that's already public, but then to send it to another address, I just wonder from a privacy standpoint, is that something that we're all comfortable with?
Well, let's recess the bill and for next week to the exec from heck. I just thought of that name, by the way. So you're gonna be hearing that a lot. I think it's very clever. And we'll take it up next week. When we come back to this bill, we will be on a motion to ought to pass as amended with this amendment. So we're still in that disposition. I don't know why I turned off my own microphone. I'm excited. I just thought of like the greatest name of all time. So I mean, of course I'm excited. 281 is recessed. 274, Representative C, do you have your amendment yet? Or is OLS still dragging their feet on you?
I have the amendment.
You have the amendment. Okay. So we will open the executive session on House Bill 270. Sorry.
Are we on 274 or 270?
Oh, I can't read. I'm sorry. We're going to open the executive session for House Bill 274 and recognize Representative Weary for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion of ought to pass.
Representative Weary makes a motion of ought to pass on House Bill 274. Is there a second? Representative Primo Bryan seconds.
That's right.
Got you. I could tell by your head nod that that's what you wanted to do. We're on discussion of ought to pass on House Bill 274. Is there any discussion on the motion of ought to pass? Representative Lane is recognized.
Having trouble reaching my microphone. Thank you. At least when we had this bill pretty much last year in a different format, perhaps a different form, and we objected then to doing this every year because you are essentially purging the rolls every year, and you're only looking back to capture one presidential race, which is unfortunately about what 1/3 of the voters only vote in a presidential race. So if they miss that, they are going to be purged from the rolls. And we're already doing address updates annually. We are already doing the deaths annually. And I just feel that purging them based just on the fact that they haven't voted in the past 5 years is unduly, it's just not necessary. And I think we're going to have a lot of surprised people at the polls when they show up and they think they're registered and they're not. And given that we no longer have affidavits, that makes them basically either out of luck, or hopefully they haven't showed up at 7 o'clock when the polls close at 7 and they have time to get home. So I just don't feel that we need to be this aggressive in how I understand wanting to clean up the the rolls, but I just think this is way too aggressive.
Further discussion on the motion of ought to pass on House Bill 274. Representative Weary.
So everyone here by now should know that when we did the 10-year purges, we had 250,000 people removed from the voter rolls in New Hampshire. And we also have heard testimony that we have scores of races that are decided by less than 10 votes. And so I think it is up to us, in order to continue to maintain the confidence that voters have in our elections, that we make sure that our voter checklists are up to date and accurate as possible. The key to this will be vigilant maintenance, not a haphazard maintenance of 10 years. And so based on that, that's the default, is we retain the 10 years. So I think ultimately the supervisor of the checklist will find that they have less work to do by doing it this way. I think also a 5-year look back is more than generous. If someone missed a general vote and they're only voting in that, then they really need to be more engaged in their community. I honestly feel that that's important for the people of New Hampshire, to be engaged in their community and in their active voting opportunities. So I don't think we're disenfranchising voters this way. So that's it.
Yes, Representative Wood.
Yeah, from my understanding, in 2020, the Secretary of State, one of his duties is to know roughly how many voters are in the state. I heard testimony from him the first year I was here. I would say that whatever we were doing back then, he didn't live up to his duty, because we thought there was 1.1 million, and after the purge, there was like 823,000, 100,000. So, I mean, pretty much what we're talking about is finding out why these rolls are, even then I heard testimony, there's a variety of ways of removing things. I just don't bill, and I will be voting for it. Thank you.
Further discussion? Representative Lane.
I do understand that there's a concern about that issue in 2020, but there have been other things adopted since that time towards cleaning it up. And I have to say that one of the best ways of cleaning up the voter rolls would be for us to become involved with ERIC. And but it's been consistently rejected. But that would be one of the better ways to do it periodically, and it's done. I think, continuously. I don't even think it's done annually. I think it's a continuous update. So, but I don't think that purging the rolls every year is the answer, because I think you are going to get disenfranchised people. And I don't think that the interest of the state in updating the registration outweighs somebody showing up and not being able to vote.
Further discussion? A couple of things I want to note before we take the rolls here. So this actually extends the look back period. It's currently a look back period of 4 years. It goes to 5 years. So it's a 20% extension on the look back period, but it increases the frequency. So if the look back period of 4 years is I don't understand how you could object to that, because it's like, if you're extending the look back period, but you're saying we're going to increase the frequency, that doesn't make sense. Like either the look back period and the subsequent removal of non-voting voters is okay, or it's not okay. It's not that it's okay every 10 years. Every 10 years it's okay to look back 4 years. But not every year. Every year we couldn't look back. Oh no. That just logically doesn't line up. So the look back period of 5 years attempts to encompass some of those concerns about looking back at more elections. But if you're talking about somebody who lives in a town, you're talking about 5 town elections, 2 state elections, 2 primary elections, and 1 presidential primary. So if you live in a town, that's 10 opportunities to go vote that you have chosen not to do that, and we're going to take you out. The other thing that's not getting mentioned is that before a voter is removed, they have to be notified, and they have 30 days to say, hey, no, I still live here and I'm still voting here. So, I mean, you're building in a safety valve with a 30-day notice. You're extending the look back period 20%, and you're increasing the frequency in which you're conducting it. But if it's okay to do it every 10 years, why is it not okay to do it every year? And I understand the concern about the presidential election. I hear that. But once again, if you live in a town, you've had 10 opportunities to go vote. That's a lot of elections to sit out, to leave somebody on the rolls. And the final thing is the reason I think we desperately need to move to annual verification is when you do this every 10 years, you do lose about a quarter of your rolls, 250,000 people, 25%, 250,000 roughly. It's usually about those percentages. And that creates a lot of theories that are not true, in my opinion, but it creates a lot of understandable questions that get asked when you see such a dramatic change to the list of what were all these people doing on here. And it's because they don't live there anymore. Like that. That's why they're not. The reality is they probably don't live there anymore. We just had an election where 84% of the electorate turned out and voted. So the reality is they probably don't live there anymore. Anyways, is anyone else going to change their mind on any debate? I doubt it. So, Representative Newsom, you give it the last word, then we'll call it.
I'm not going to change my mind, but I guess I just have a question on the math of the 20% increase. I understand 4 to 5, but when you add in and bake in that 10-year period, it's really currently 4 to 14. So it's really going down, isn't it? Instead of a constant 5.
No, I would disagree, because you're looking back 4 years. You're just my point is your period of look back is 4 years. We're taking the period of look back to 5 years, but increase the frequency. I think it's a very reasonable exchange. And to be fair, it wouldn't be 20%; it would be 25%, because I did bad math. Because one is 25% of 4. I just did the other way. So 25%, even a larger number. More appalling. Representative Lane, you'll get our last word, and then we'll hit the vote.
Right. This is math's not my strong suit, so I'm not getting involved in that discussion. I would just point out that you could look back every 4 years with a 6-year look back and accomplish this. And with the other annual things that are happening, I think that would be more sufficient. I agree, waiting every 10 years is not a good idea. And I'm not sure that all towns waited 10 years, but hopefully, and I think it's a good idea. But I just think annually is too often. That's it. I'll be quiet now.
It's okay. All right, with that, we'll call the roll on the motion of ought to pass on House Bill 274, which for some reason I already scratched off on my list, which I know we didn't vote on. So, clerk, call the roll.
Vice Chairman Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Prudhomme O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia,
Yes.
Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Gosofsky,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
No.
Representative Ward,
No.
Representative Gilmore,
No.
Representative Muirhead,
No.
Representative Bay,
No.
Representative Newsom,
No.
Representative Howard,
No.
Representative Bricky,
No.
Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The motion of ought to pass carries on a vote of 10 to 8. Representative Weary, you'll be responsible for the majority report. Representative Lane, will you be responsible for the minority report?
It will be to be determined, but
Okay.
I'll get it.
So we'll put her down.
I will put you down. I will do my duty, and I will put you down as obligatory. We will close the executive session on House Bill 274. And we will open the executive session for House Bill 270. Representative C, before we make any motions, you have your amendment? It's passing
coming
around. All right,
around.
so Representative C is recognized for a motion.
Thank you. I move ought to pass on House Bill 270.
Representative C moves ought to pass on House Bill 270. Is there a second?
I will second, thank you.
Where is a second? Is there any amendments that anyone wishes to move? Representative C is recognized. I got you too.
I move amendment 2025-0877H.
Representative C moves amendment 2025-0877H to House Bill 270. Representative Burnham seconds the motion. We are now on discussion of the amendment, which is rather large, so we're definitely taking a roll call on it. Representative C, would you like to speak to your amendment?
Yes. The original bill was to preserve the ballot counting devices, or the memory cards for the ballot counting devices. And this clarifies it slightly in that the memory cards that were actually used in the election need to be saved, but if there were extra cards programmed, they would not need to be saved. That is really in deference to the AccuVote machines where the memory cards are a little bit limited supply. And also, this adds some additional things where originally the law required that after election, the memory card was to be removed from the device and immediately returned to the vendor. This takes that out and provides for the requirement to save it in accordance with RSA 33A, colon 3A, or as directed by the Secretary of State. And there's two different time periods for any elections that involve federal elections. That would be 22 months. It's 60 days for local elections. And it just main reason, as long as they printed the entire 656:42 Roman 8 rather than just a couple of bits of it.
Did you work with anyone on this amendment? Yeah.
Sorry, with Representative Burnham.
Okay. You didn't talk to the Secretary of State?
On some aspects I did, but not all of it.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let this one cook for a second. So I'm going to recess it. We're going to try to take it up today, but it's a long amendment. I don't think it's fair to ask for a vote on an amendment that's taken a 5-line bill to a however many line bill. So I'm going to recess it real fast because I don't think the votes are going to change on it, but I just don't think that's fair. Just to be honest. So we're going to recess 270. We'll try to come back to it. On 150, we're going to open the executive session on House Bill 158. I was going to recess this, but I'm not going to be able to get to this before we're done for this session. So I'm going to make the motion to retain this bill because my parents are coming to town. I'm trying to buy a new business, and I'm not going to be able to get that done this week. So I'd like a second on my motion to retain House Bill 158. Okay, multiple seconds. I'll take Representative Muirhead's second because I always enjoy a good bipartisan retention. Like I said, to speak to my motion, I am going to try to get this bill working, but parents are coming to town election, and I'm trying to buy a business, so I'm just not going to be able to do the volunteer job very well for the next week.
We're on 158.
We're on 158. So with that, we're on the vote to retain House Bill 158. The clerk will call the roll when she is ready.
Not recessed, it's retained.
You just want to start calling the roll and we can fill it in a second? It's going to be 18-0, I think. Okay.
Vice Chairman Quayle,
Yes.
Representative Pudomo O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Burnham, yes. Representative Wary,
Yes.
Representative Wood,
Yes.
Representative Harvey Bolia, Representative C,
Yes.
Representative Kozowski,
Yes.
Representative Toner,
Yes.
Representative Lane,
Yes.
Representative Ward,
Yes.
Representative Gilmore,
Yes.
Representative Muirhead,
Yes.
Representative Bay, yes. Representative Newsom,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Breaky,
Yes.
sorry, and Chairman Barry.
Chair votes yes. The bill is retained on a vote of 18-0. We'll close the executive session on House Bill. Yes, Representative C.
Did we need
158.
to mention House Bill 160?
I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
We're getting towards the end of the day, which we started at night. I was like, wow, we've only been going for like an hour and a half, but we started. I thought, in my brain, I was like, we're only going for 30 minutes. We've gone for an hour and a half. So let me write this in. Yes, it's 18-0 because Representative Gilmore joined us. Retained 18-0. Okay. All right. Going to close executive session at 158, which I just, yep. And Representative Burnham, we're still not ready on 160. Are we going to have that ready? Are you going to have that ready next week, or do you want to retain it?
I will have it for next week.
Okay. All right, so we'll recess 160, and we will come back now to 270 now that we've had a little bit longer to look at it. So we're back at 270. We're still on the amendment on the motion of we're still on the amendment. We had a little bit longer to look at this thing. Would anyone like to discuss the amendment? Representative Lane.
I was actually going to request a caucus.
That is totally acceptable. How long would you like, Representative Lane? 10 minutes?
15 minutes, 10,
I'll take a
10?
15-minute break.
Okay. All right.
All right.
thanks.
We'll take a 15-minute break because that'll put us out of here by 11. So that's good. That's a good little. All right. So we'll be recessed for 15 minutes. So we'll come back at 10:50. If you'd like, you can use that room. And I can take my guys to 300. I don't think we have much to discuss, but Republicans can go to room 300 if it's open, and the Democrat caucus may use the election law office. And see you at 10:50. ranking member, we're going to recess 270 to next week so we can hear from the SOS because it's quite a long amendment. I think that's a more than reasonable request. So the only thing left, we'd already recessed 160, so the only thing left is House Bill 311. So we will. We've already done. I don't think we have we? Let me trust but verify.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny. Well,
I missed that one.
The one that we did was, we did one on unions. I don't remember doing 311.
We were wondering if you just want to kill it over and over and over. Here it is. The end of a long winter.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe
Really?
218, he says.
218.
At least it's on.
Well, 75 bills.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah, my problem is we have so many dang bills.
They're not going to the floor.
And I found out what that is, by the way. So, you said on what day?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Why would we recess this? Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think the vote's changing on it.
No, I have ITL.
Oh, it's ITL.
10 to
Yep.
7.
Okay, all right. So we've already killed it. All right. So it's 10 to 7. We've already killed it, and I mean, we can do it again and again. If you want, I can try to reconsider it, bring it open, and kill it again. Just to have, and then after we do that, then we can reconsider it again, and we can just sit here until we're dead. All right. Well, if that's the case, we don't have any more bills today.
All right.
So we'll close 311 that we never actually opened because apparently I forgot. So a couple of things to be on situational awareness of. Next week will be the exec from HEC. So every bill will be up that we haven't retained. I'm going to send all retained reports over here. I did figure out why our bills were not going to the floor. They were doing all the early bills. And then once I figured that out, I didn't send in the regular calendar bills, and then I got a phone call about why I wasn't sending in the regular calendar bills. It's like, well, you're not sending them down there. So we have 3 bills for Thursday, I think, that are going to the floor, all early bills. And then next Thursday, I would expect a significant. It'll be the Lane and Barry show down on the floor for quite some time. And then on the 18th, we're going to have a lot of executive session votes. So I would ask as a courtesy to other members, because I hate the late amendments, if you have an amendment to a bill that you're going to want to do next week, please get it to me as early as possible so I can give it to the vice chairman and the ranking member. I understand time, but it's just really not cool to hand them 3 pages of amendments and that sort of stuff. They haven't seen it. So
Do you have an estimate of how many bills we're going to exec next week?
it could be 30.
Okay.
Yes, Representative Firma Bryan.
What happened, somehow I've missed it with HB 160 and 220.
160 was recessed. 220 we already voted on. We caught that one. We caught 220. We didn't catch 311.
It's possible that both KPO and I might be ill next Tuesday.
If
Kind
you
of
know,
even trade kind of thing.
they used to do that in Congress. They would take, they would try to do together, or the old smoke break of, hey, but now nobody smokes. So, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't bother me if you guys did that. Representative Muirhead.
What time is the catering arriving at our session next Tuesday?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So next Tuesday we'll meet at 10, but I would expect it to be a full day. So today was just to try to bite off as much of it, but I would expect next Tuesday to be a full day. So with that, I will enjoy town meeting day for those of you who haven't voted, and I will see you on Thursday.